Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Ringmaster Story Time. Thanks for tuning in before you turn in. Oh, tonight promises to be a wonderful double feature. That's right, a good old 1-2, 1-2. What are we talking about? Tonight is a night like no other because tonight, it's fight night. That's right, folks. The two stories I have for you, they're going to get you moving. They're going to get you going. They're going to toughen you up. That's right, folks. Just wait till you hear them. You're going to love it. So thanks for tuning in once again. And remember, we're pre-recording Ringmaster Story Time for the time being until we get some of our technical issues worked out. And then I'll be back for our regular live events. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a nation's hope. The story of boxing legend Joe Louis, written by Matt De La Pena, illustrated by Kadir Nelson. Yankee Stadium, 1938, packed crowd, buzzing and bets bantered back and forth. The Bronx night air thick with summer. The world waits for Joe Louis to take the ring, take center stage. White men wait standing beside black men, but standing apart. Jim Crow, America. All to witness the most important match in boxing history. Soft-spoken Joe Louis against the one man who put him on his back. But Joe knows tonight's fight is bigger than any two men. Son of a black sharecropper against Hitler's master race. Black and white Americans together against the rule of Nazi hate. The weight of history hangs on Joe's shoulders as he ducks through ropes, body already glazed with warm-up sweat. Will he come through for his country? The German, Max Schmeling, enters second, both boxers dancing in their corners, shadow box jabs caught in flash of camera. The referee calls the two to center ring, biggest stage ever. He shouts over the crowd, "May the best man win." He shouts. The bell dings, and the two men raise fists, come together under a deafening roar. But the crowd didn't always roar for Joe Louis. He didn't speak until he was 6, and when he finally spoke, he stammered and was ridiculed, words spinning just beyond Joe's grasp, and with black skin he passed through childhood in shadows. Yet there was something about his hands, so big and powerful. Nights he'd stare down at those hands and dream. Joe's mom said it was music, and one morning sent him out with gathered change for a violin lesson. Joe ducked inside a gym instead, spied men twice his age and size, pounding heavy bags and skipping rope. He returned day after day, slowly stepping out from shadows. First time inside a ring as an amateur, though, his opponent was a blur of fist and footwork, sent Joe toppling to the canvas 7 times. Bruised jaw and bruised ego, Joe came back. He watched older boxers spar and listened and grew into his body. The space between ropes became home, the dance of the fight. Two men circling, shuffling, a delicate balance, movement based on the other guy's eyes. Back then, blacks didn't win decisions, not against whites. Joe had to let his fists be the referees. In his first professional fight, he knocked a man clear out of the ring. But in victory, Joe didn't raise his gloves and gloat. He helped opponents to their feet and shook their hands. He was a sensation. More knockouts followed each new city. Another fallen man. His legend quickly spread across the country. People scrambling for a glance of Joe in a cab or coming from a cafe. Black neighborhoods longing for a hero to call their own found Joe and danced his every triumph in the streets. Hundreds surrounding Joe and his wife down a Harlem sidewalk. Joe smiling, always humble, waving back with those powerful hands. Once a boyhood dream, now a people's hope. But at the height of Joe's fame, Hitler's German caught him with his gloves down, and Joe woke up on his back, devastated. He covered his face, leaving the ring, shadows once again falling, and the taste of failure. Harlem Street struck silent. Joe healed and vowed to battle back. He worked even harder as the world threatened war around him. Word leaked that the Nazis were filling concentration camps in Europe. Just as Joe got another shot at the German, it was now more than just blacks who needed a hero. It was all of America, and color was set aside. 70,000 erupt as Joe leaps from his corner at the bell, an entire stadium leaning onto toes and holding its breath. Ears glued to radio in every home, in every city, the entire world stopping, its fate seemingly all in Joe's hands. Instead of waiting this time, Joe is first to strike. He jabs and retreats and jabs again, his gloves never dropping an inch. He stings the German with an overhand right, and the crowd goes crazy. But Joe hears nothing. He strikes again, sends the German down. Soon as the German is up, Joe is on him again, a relentless fury of gloves and passion, the weight of the moment lifting, shadows disappearing. The German goes down again and again until his cornerman throws in the towel and the referee waves Joe away. Just like that, it's over. Joe has shocked the world, the entire stadium in pandemonium, white men hugging black men and black men hugging back. The streets of Harlem once again dancing for their hero, but all of America dancing this time. The end. What an exciting story. Champion Joe Louis, one of the greatest boxers to ever live, stood in that ring, not just for himself, not just for his people, but for his country. What a great story. Hey, there's more to come. So sit back and relax. And here comes round 2. How to Fight a Cold by Adam T. Newman and Susan G. Young. I woke up in the morning. I had boogers galore. My nose was super stuffy and my throat was really sore. I had a raspy voice, which made me sound old. You're staying home from school, Mom said. You caught a cold. I caught a cold? How? When? Where? Now I am your mother, and mothers know best. In order to fight this cold, you will need lots of rest. Mommy fluffed up my pillows, tucked me back into bed, and before leaving my room, gave me a kiss on the head. How do I fight a cold? Do I need to learn some kung fu? My nose is completely stuffed up. Maybe I'll... achoo! I had a pounding headache. I let out a cough. My eyes felt very heavy. Before I dozed off, from underneath my pillow, a hairy creature crept out. It had a greenish blue tongue and an elephant-like snout. It looked me in the eye and threw me some clothes. Then it flared out its nostril, and I was sucked in through its nose. Ugh. The inside of its nose was dark. The ground was pretty mushy. I tripped over a giant booger and landed on my tushy. Hey, watch it, kid! A booger rolled over and yelled. He appeared old and crusty, and his breath really smelled. My name is Boogie, and I know I look old, but I'm going to train you to fight that tough cold. He pushed me into a building. It smelled like a sweaty gym. Time to prepare for your fight. Let the training begin. Boogie had me do push-ups and sit-ups, jumping jacks, and karate. I took a quick break from the speed bag because I had to use the potty. Then we raced into a room that smelled like freshly cut roses. Inside there were hundreds of flying stuffy noses. He threw me a box of tissues. He shouted, "Clean these out!" I used my arms to reach deep into each boogery snout. "Keep up the good work," he said. My booty was getting kicked. Of all the boogers in his nose, he's the one I picked. Then he threw me my gloves. The event was finally here. As I hopped into the ring, the crowd started to cheer. "Let's go fight a cold!" But my confidence didn't last long. It didn't last long at all. When I stared at my opponent, I felt pretty small. Uh-oh. The cold had enormous spiky wings and extremely hairy toes. I started to cry when I saw its red eye and its giant pierced nose. The starting bell rang. Ding! I nearly peed in my pants. If I can distract this ugly creature, I just may have a chance. So before I was pummeled and smashed into the ground, I held up my gloves and screamed, "Stop!" Want to know what I found? Kapow! Colds do not listen! His mouth opened wide. He let out a roar. "Drink this," Boogie shouted, sliding me chicken soup on the floor. I gobbled up the soup. I tossed out the bowl just as the big mighty cold swallowed me whole. As I slid down his throat, I began to feel great. I was getting bigger and stronger. Was it the soup I just ate? I grew more than 5 times my size. I busted out of my top. If I got any bigger inside here, this belly would pop! When I opened my eyes, Mom was cleaning tissues off the floor. My nose wasn't super stuffy. My throat was no longer sore. Mommy gave me a look and said, very bold, "You're going to school today, love. You fought that cold." I fought a cold? Woohoo! I just hope he doesn't want a rematch. The end. How about that for our double feature? 2 knockout tales, folks. That's right. Remember them? They're great. How about that? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you again for tuning in before you turn in. I've been your host, Jonathan Lee Iverson. And remember, keep the circus alive inside you. Good night.
Hi everyone, my name is Sierra Rhodes Nichols. I am the founder of Seesaw, connecting circus students around the world. I started Seesaw 2 years ago with the hopes of helping circus students find the schools right for them. We're now expanding Seesaw to help provide other types of resources, and this is our first adventure into fundraising. So help us raise $15,000 to create microgrants for U.S. circus artists of color.
Seesaw wants to be sure to center people of color in this campaign, so thank you to the artists who have volunteered their time and support to be featured in this video. The artists you see here are amazing circus artists whose work we want to promote and amplify in our fundraising efforts. This fundraiser is a call to action for the circus community. As we recover and rebuild our art form, we need to provide resources and pathways for representation in circus. Funding for circus in America is sparse, and Seesaw wants to help pave the way for more financial aid in circus as a whole. These microgrants will be available for U.S. circus artists of color to pay for circus education, shows, videos, or anything that fits the application criteria. Thank you for your time and support. I started this fundraiser with Seesaw team member Kevin Flanagan. We realize that in the fight for social justice, mistakes will inevitably be made. So please feel free to ask questions, raise concerns, or call us out on any platform. Instagram, Facebook, or email us at seesawcircus@gmail.com. Help us raise $15,000 to create a more representative circus community. Donate now and tell a friend. Thank you.
the black experience in circuses go back hundreds of years, and we do it with our own style. The circus has been a microcosm of the outside world. Many of the same prejudices that you see in the outside world are present in the circus.
So it's moving past the vision or the limited vision that the society has for you and stepping into the talent and skill that you know you have to go forward as a performer.
The circus is a vast international community, and there's only one place to connect for jobs, events, the latest news, and so much more. CircusTalk.com. Join today.